Alright, we're gonna try and drive this thing again. I just had a false start, so maybe this time it'll work. We'll see. So we flipped the current sign around from yesterday. It's good to make sure your currents are always the same. And I've got the car battery I have in here right now, and I've also got a backup one in case the car battery dies. So let's see if it'll start. There it goes. And no IMA errors yet. But there's always time for that. Back down. Ooh, there's a car in my driveway. What are you doing in my driveway, car? Interesting. I'm not going to argue with that too much. Okay, so no check engine lights yet, and we're giving assist, so that's good. I'm going to be a little more gingerly this time. Last time I kind of just gunned it. So I'm going to actually turn around the other direction. I don't really want to go on the highway just yet. Of course, that's what I tried to do yesterday. Seems to be going well. So let's turn some AC on. It is summer in the south, let me tell you that. It's 95 degrees with the heat index or whatever, but it's like 100% humidity all the time. So assist is working. No check engine light there, so that's good. This is what we need to, a little more visible. So battery amps are 0, so that's 15, 20 amps, and no check engine light, so that's an improvement. So yeah, I just had the battery current backwards, single line code fix. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll turn around, and we'll see if we can drive up Lookout. There's a car behind me. We're going to take a loop and see if we can drive up Lookout. This car is not being nice. Just going to ride my ass. Which means I'm going to drive slower, because I like to do that. Cool. And then we're going to make sure we do the full 2-second stop here. Alrighty. Sweet. Now we've got 8,000 speed bumps. So I'm impressed because the connector E voltage issue, where we're off by about 25 volts, I would think that the MCM would care about that. But I guess it doesn't, because yeah, I'm reading 164 volts, and over there it's 179, so that's only about 15 volts. It's not terrible. But I'm actually impressed with how aggressively the car is trying to regen right now when I come off the gas. So now it stopped regenning, so maybe she's gonna give me cool. I should probably jump on it at least once before I get on the highway here. So I'll do that after this speed bump. Jumping on it is always relative when you're at an insight. So there's first, second. So that is full assist. No check engine lights. That's great. I think our current sensor finally works, and of course the Arduino is still outputting data. I think yesterday my USB cable got pinched or whatever. I'm kind of just chalking it up to that for now, because it seems to be going fine. Another thought would be that when the contactor opened, it made a large RF burst, and that killed the serial connection. who knows? Hopefully we don't find more of that. So we are now at the base of Lookout, and we'll be driving up. It's a lot of uphill, and I'm going to do it in third gear so that there's a lot of assist, and we'll see what happens to the batteries there. I'll turn the AC off here. This is always a fun place here. All right. That's second. Stay in second here for a minute. Until we get through the corner. So all that driving now, we're basically right back where we started. We'll be shortly here. All right. So that is 60 amps. Really almost like it there. So now we're in third. 60 amps again. Oh, this is a lot more power than I'm used to having. My IMA battery is basically dead. I'm gonna go fourth. See if she can take fourth. She's doing it. So 40 amps, basically just continuously, and we've got a long way to go up. This is a steep mountain. She's telling me to shift down now, but those are always just recommendations. This is real strong. I'm impressed. Our battery voltage is 3.65, which is pretty impressive considering that it's 40 amps that we're drawing here. But I'm slowly losing power. That's just, because I'm in the wrong gear. I'm way too steep gear-wise. But yeah, we're at 3.58 volts. Of course, I'm logging all this data. I'll be able to look back at it later. We're about a quarter of the way up, probably. And we're just going straight up. Battery voltage on here is showing 155. Of course, I'm not monitoring the battery temperature right now, but we'll throw a thermal camera on it when we get back. This is impressive. I've just had the gas all the way down. I'm in fourth gear driving up Lookout. Now, this is nothing. If you have a healthy nickel metal hydride pack, this is nothing new, but I haven't felt this in years because I've never actually purchased a replacement nickel metal hydride pack, and all of my packs are totally shot at this point. But yeah, we're basically the nickel metal hydride battery that I have would be dead right now, and this is super exciting to be able to have a healthy battery again. But we got one little dip here where we go around a little bend, and the car's charging her up just fine. I probably need to tie in and get some of the engine parameters so that I can correlate this data to what I'm doing. That's a project for a different day, probably a never day. But no, this is great. All right, so we're in fourth gear, going 24 miles an hour, and I'm just gunning it around the corner. Of course, again, it's a Honda Insight, so. But yeah, there's a lot of power. I mean, I'm actually accelerating going uphill here in fourth gear. So we'll just keep on heading up. We've got another little flat here, and I believe we're now in Georgia. It's playing along at home. I know that happens right around here. Here, okay, well, they're a little more obvious. Now we're in Georgia, where our speed is detected by detection devices. But yeah, I usually go up that hill in second gear, and by the time I get to the top, I'm totally hosed. I'm still in fourth. This is fantastic. So good. The unipolar current sensor circuit at the end of the day, finally, after all of that work, it works. That was probably a misstep. I should have just gone bipolar. I did that on the original, what is now the LiMCM. It is bipolar. It has a negative 12 ohm rail. But I don't know. I enjoyed finally figuring that circuit out. All right, so we've got the final uphill push here, and then we'll be at Rock City in fourth gear, like crazy. Oh, poor little Kane. So yeah, we're doing the final push now with the air conditioning on. Oh, it's 25. a different car with a new battery in it. I should have gotten a new nickel metal hydride battery a long time ago. Fourth gear going 29 miles an hour, uphill. Left turning low. How's it going? Almost got on videotape the wrecking of a car. So we're now on top of Lookout Mountain. We basically just went up 1,400 feet. Probably doesn't look it on the camera. At this point, the camera's probably shifted. You probably can't even see me or outside of the car. That's okay. So now we're going to regen. We're going to basically go back down the mountain, and we'll see about regening. The regen is really aggressive right now. I'm thinking there's something. Hey, look, we auto stopped for the first time. So hopefully we start back up. Yeah, we do. All right. This is good. Got some utility. So much power. Now I'm not getting more than about 50 amps in second gear. I don't really track that a whole lot, but I really feel like you should get more, like 100 amps maybe. This up a little bit. Okay, lane closed ahead. Let's see what this looks like. So case in point here, even if you don't buy the LiBCM product, if you have a bad nickel metal hydride battery, you should replace it, because yikes, yeah, I've got a ton of power here. Only 50 amps though on the second gear. Not sure what that's all about. Let's see, I have no idea where to go now. That's kind of the main thoroughfare, so we're going to kind of just wander through the fields here. It's so crazy not having to turn the air conditioning off. We're going to get more elevation. We are definitely getting more elevation. And I'm driving roads I've never been on. Battery voltage is 3.3 volts now, so we hit that battery pretty hard. We started at about 3.8. I think we used most of the charge or whatever. I mean, we weren't fully charged, we're not fully discharged, but now we'll do our downhill. Wow, the regen is really aggressive. It's telling me 10 amps, 11 amps. I thought I saw 1,000 amps for a second, but that doesn't make any sense. So let's play KCM, sure. Yeah, okay, 11 amps. Kind of crazy. I'm actually going to use Calpod there to kill the current. Okay. So I guess with the battery voltage being suppressed now at 150 volts, it makes the MCM a little more aggressive on the regen. Now, of course, we can adjust that with that MCM connector E, that pesky MCM connector E. We can change the voltage voltage to it. We can change it between 87 and 100% of its actual value. So we could basically, right now, we could say the voltage was higher, which would lower the regen. Stop sign out of nowhere. Stay there, computer. Okay. And I will take a left. They've really lowered the speed limits up here, 20 miles per hour. So at this point, I have CalPod in, so I'm not actually regenning. I'm just kind of getting some mileage in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep fleshing this out. There's our power. There's so much of it. That IMA motor, it's just been dead weight for all these years. I really think that my nickel metal hydrogen is down to about 100 watt hours or something terrible, because I usually get about a third to halfway up lookout and the battery's completely dead in second gear, and that was fourth gear, and we did the whole thing. Man, power to the top, pretty awesome. New speed limit sign even. So yeah, we're just driving around on top of the plateau right now. We're trying to get to the bottom. That the road being closed there kind of added a little bit of roundabout. I gotta say, it's very jumpy. The MCM is just absolutely ready to regen. Which is funky because I'm telling it right now that the battery's fully charged. I haven't implemented the fans, the grid charger, the state of charge. None of that is implemented. This is bare bones. Can we make the MCM happy enough, which is basically BATSI, METSI, and a few other things. But yeah, this is all stuff Peter did years ago. I've never personally done any of it, so it's exciting. Peter's posting last night, like, here's the code I wrote 15 years ago. That's how not far I'm leading the curve right here. This is very much Peter's domain. So yeah, we're about to start our downhill descent, and I usually do it in second gear. I don't know. I mean, like right now, just on this slight downhill, we're regenerating at 14 amps. So I'm going to turn that off. That's aggressive. So we'll have to play around with the MCME to make that work properly. I'm still really amazed that even with the voltage being off, we're reading 153 volts here, and data's scrolling by too quickly. I can't read it. Maybe I'll stop up here and kind of just do a little gut check and maybe copy one of these data values so I can reference it later. Wow, so much power. That's cool. So I got no one behind me. Let's see. 3.5 volts, no. Okay. So we're going to start the downhill. Go ahead. I got the CalPod on now just so we can get some speed up. It's bonkers to me that I'm leaving the air conditioning on. I am so used to turning that AC off whenever I start going uphill. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit it, and 10 amps. I am going to turn the AC off just to get the power into the IMA. 12 amps. I guess that's normal here. I just feel like it was more aggressive otherwise. When I'm just kind of barely going downhill. But yeah, this is great. Voltage has hopped up to 3.6. So the ESR on these batteries is just as low as we thought it was. The battery voltage is not changing at all. I mean, like, going from a 50 amp assist to, I actually don't know that. Going from like a 25 amp assist to a 20 amp regen right now, the voltage has changed 6 volts. As you would expect with the ESR. This is pretty crazy. I'm not having to brake at all going all the way down. Now the car behind me doesn't like that I'm going 30 miles an hour, and that's okay. still rocking along here, so that's good. I was a little concerned yesterday. I really think that I just kinked the cable. Also, this laptop is 8 years old. I know the left USB port doesn't work well, and I guess the right one might not be working well at this point either. So I'm gonna pop this off. We're gonna gain a little speed. I've got like 4 cars behind me now, and you really pick that speed up quick without the IMA on. So we're gonna just keep going downhill. So we're losing all of that like 1,400 feet of elevation. We're losing it all right now on this pretty extreme region cycle here. I still think it's odd because we're telling the IMA how that the battery's like basically fully charged. I'm impressed with how aggressive it is at charging still. Peter probably knows a lot more about that than I do. I'm just the casual consumer of IMA data here. Peter's really got that one in the bag. So yeah, we're still just regen 12.6 amps. We're 173 volts, whereas I'm reading the 158. It seems like the voltage is pretty linear, and it would make sense. The issue I'm seeing is that whenever we're sampling, the sample and hold capacitor in the MCM is actually really large. I don't remember the value, but I think it's like 20% of the total capacitance, which would make sense because the voltage, the 200 volts or whatever, 180 volts, is dropping about 50 volts when we're sampling it. It's kind of a dead short when it's connecting. I think it's an odd choice on Honda's part, and I'm curious. So Peter spoofs that signal with just a series resistor, I guess. And I'm curious if Peter, if you've seen the voltage inaccuracies between the actual voltage in the pack and what the OBD2 CNC is seeing. I haven't even started to actually spoof the voltage yet. So the 15 volt difference we're seeing here is an actual measurement error, which we've identified. It's the MCME's connector circuit, and then the question is how do we fix it? I think the most engineeringly sound answer to that is that we would make the sample capacitor in the MCM smaller, but I really don't want people to have to go in there and change a component in the MCM, because now it's like, okay, we'll say you take the LiBCM out and you start to use the OEM system again. Well, now you have this non-standard MCM, so we're not going to do that. We'll probably end up lowering the resistance, which is going to mean we're going to have to go up to like a 1206 resistor, because we're shunting that whole 200 volts across this 4 resistor pack, and 2 of those resistors are taking about 80% of the value. Anyway, it's very technical, whatever. We're probably 70% of the way down the mountain. I wish I could stop the camera. I get that this is boring, obviously, but it's really exciting to be driving this here and this working Rev A prototype. I think I'm about to use this Rev A up. Now, I'm going to drive this Rev A down to Austin next week. I'll have my backup here. So my backup supply here, it's set to a lower voltage, to constant current, constant voltage supply. And I have it set to about 12 volts. And that way, if the IMA system turns off the DC-DC converter for any reason, which is what it did to me last night, and I had this tiny little 2 amp hour battery, I'm not going to be stranded. I'm powering it from a separate lithium pack here. I just wanted to be able to control the cut-in voltage. So I'll probably bring this down to Austin, and that way if I do have problems, I'll be able to use the lithium battery as the car battery instead of having an alternator. We'll see. Maybe I'll just bring the IMA bypass thing or whatever for off-road use only. This car did not enjoy me going slow. No, he's trying to mess with that's okay. You can do it. Believe in your victory. Cool. disconnects when you update the firmware. But you know, serial term, full term. The problem with the Arduino serial window is that if you lose the connection, it just immediately deletes all of your data, which is annoying. But obviously, I think we're kind of using the Arduino a little bit outside of the intended learn how to program thing, or learn how to use electronics realm. Okay, wow, they got rid of the bump. No, they didn't. Never mind. Cool. We are almost home. We got to drive through St. Elmo proper, and then we've got to drive back up the mountain just about a couple hundred feet. And then I'll stop the video. Of course, you are welcome to stop watching at any point in time. These videos are more for my own personal documentation. Man, it's such an improvement battery-wise. Stay there, computer. Or USB port's just trying to break itself. It's still crazy to me that the air conditioner is on this whole time. So now that I've kind of just been babying it down here, I'm trying to see if I can get the second gear up to 100 amps. See what our battery voltage droops down to. Auto stop is crisp. Real slow. Alright, we're going to start our quick, maybe just 200 foot of vertical, probably not, maybe 150 feet of vertical up to the back to the house. We're going to do it in second gear here. And 60 amps. More than 60 amps, but I think I have an integer overflowing because sometimes I swear the current is showing me that it's like 1,000 amps. I've seen that a couple times now. Yeah, there was 9177. I think I've got an integer overflowing, or you know, I think the decimal's just changing really fast, and I can't. The decimal point is moving 5.8. I really think that's saying 1,000. It's hard to tell with this 4x12 display. I doubt the MCM would accept that value without throwing an error code of some kind. Okay, we got one more little gun-in section here, and then we're going to be turning. Stay there, computer. Need to find a better way to secure that computer. Hey, there's a leaf. Hey, leaf. Sure, you can park in my driveway random car from Tennessee. Alrighty, let's hold that computer. Almost lost it. Alrighty, nice little auto stop for the finish. Cool. Well, let me put this garage door down so I don't let all the hair out. Yeah, it's all good. Of course, no No IMA codes, that's always good. And our final voltage, 3.6 volts, so pretty decent. I'm going to copy paste all of this data before I lose it. Copy, text, paste. Alrighty, cool. Now you can do whatever you want, little car. That's great. I'm just going to stay here at auto stop because it's kind of hard to get it at auto stop. And yeah. Good. Alright, well, that's good for now. I'm kind of just thinking.